How you doing? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of A Day in the Shop. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work, and we're post-apocalyptic today. Well, not really. Central Florida, we didn't get the storm too bad. It might look like chaos back here, like things really went off the rails, but it didn't. It just normally looks that way. They can't find this clutch fork, by the way. They're asking me if I'll weld it. I said, well, I can weld it, but I can't guarantee it won't break again in 2 weeks because the metal's fatigued and all. That's why it broke, right? You weld it, usually it'll break right next to the weld. We'll see what happens with that one. You know what I'll do? I'll put some clips in right here so you'll know what to expect in today's Day in the Shop video. Look at that 2011 Super Duty Yukon Denali X. You can see we still got some cloudy skies. It's drizzling out right now. I'm actually standing just out in a slight little bit of drizzle, which won't have hurt my hair, but it will put water spots on my glasses, and nobody likes that. We're gonna try to finish out the week strong. It's been kind of an odd week. Still doing pretty good hours wise. Just, you know, sometimes when you're at work, no matter what you do for a living, some days it just feels like a battle and you just can't get things to kind of go, get them finished up. And then some days everything just goes smooth as silk. We'll see how it's going to go today. I have no idea yet. Obviously, you saw some clips that you might know. I know we got the old Mercedes. Someone requested I work on it for some reason. It just needs a battery, and the cars are a mess. Safety inspection on that one too, so we'll see what happens. I know one thing. I'm going to keep a smile on my face. I hope you do too. I'm going to do my best to try to teach you something. I'm going to try to learn something, and I'm going to have some fun. Because every day you should try to have some fun. There's always there's always positive things that happen every single day. Even on a bad day, there's still going to be good things coming from it. Let's get in here, finish getting the shop open up, and get started. Stay tuned. Look at that sweet classic from yesterday, 2001 C320. It's a customer of ours that asked for me to work on it. If you saw yesterday's video, just at the end of the day, I pulled it in with my jump box, and it had a funny smell. I guess it just hasn't ran in a while, and I found this tube was laying down here. That means I didn't work on it last, but she wanted me to work on it this time. That's not doing too good. I'm gonna change the oil, and we're gonna put that big old battery in it. It's got a carry handle because it's like 120 pounds. Supposedly it fits in there. It looks like it will. The battery terminals are rusty. That's not a good sign. We'll see what happens. First, we're going to loosen the cartridge filter with this here custom Mercedes strap wrench I have. And you guys might know, anytime it's a top-mounted canister filter, there's a check valve in there that tries to keep the oil up there. So you have to loosen this first so it sends the old oil into the crankcase. Otherwise, you're leaving a half a quarter or so of old oil in the engine. Just curious what the filter might look like. Oh yeah. Give me that, please. Thank you. There are 3 O-rings on this. Maybe 4. Gives you 4 O-rings with the filter kit. Then go ahead and pop this in there. Change out all these O-rings. That hasn't been changed. That one hasn't been changed. They shouldn't be snapping like that, but what are you gonna do? We'll figure it out. All of these send the oil through different cavities to make sure it's being directed correctly. They got to be changed. In case whoever did this last was watching. .25 Newton meters for torque. 23, 25, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this battery in before I lift it up. It's got a 13mm nut down here and a 13mm nut down there, and this little U-shaped bracket traps it in the tray. Not like it's gonna go anywhere, but here, Mercedes, they're very thorough. Give me that. I'll do that real quick. And clean these terminals up with my wire brush a little bit. And this thing says Mercedes-Benz. Like, that can't be a 2001 battery. Can't be, can it? I'm gonna do that real quick and we'll get the car up in the air. That's why I pays 0.2. That's to going straight right away. Now she's awake. Just some gentle love taps. Nothing too crazy. I apologize if it's traumatic. Is that a bad wheel bearing? I'm not sure if that shows up. Yeah, it probably doesn't show up on camera, but got some play in the tie rod end. Got some play in the ball joint. Front brakes are low. It's like literally 2 millimeters. Same on this side. She's moving out of town, so she wanted another go over, but I think we have given her estimates on some of that stuff before. Sway bar links, brake pad wear sensor. Let's get this oil change going. I'll give them some things to work up an estimate about. See that tire? That's a flat spot. Put you someplace solid so you can see what I'm seeing. When the car's parked for a long time, the tire will have a flat spot. Does that show up? Pretty bad. All right. There's a drain plug. I found it. Don't even worry about it. This is back when they weren't worried about giving you an access panel. Surprisingly, these plastic covers are still in decent shape. It does have what looks like a rear main seal leak, but yesterday the battery's dead, so I couldn't show you the mileage. We'll look at it today when we get back in it. Uh-oh. Didn't look right the way that went down. There's not supposed to be chunks in the oil. Just saying. I'm letting this thing run and run and run, trying to get all the chunks out of there we can. And I'm gonna put 3,000 miles on the sticker and 1 year. I don't know if it'll matter. It's another thing we'll look at when we let it down. See what the oil change sticker says if it has one. She said we normally service this car. I don't remember it. I know I didn't service it last either way, because I would remember it. At least if it's been within the past 3 years or so. Maybe that's why the oil looks like that. All right, just got off the gear wrench truck. I kept myself from making a big purchase. They had a grease gun free with a 1/2-inch impact, but it was like 800 bucks. I'm like, nope. But maybe next week, we'll see if I get a couple really good checks. It has given this some time to let the sludge run out of there. So that's the good news. You can get some oil in this thing. We got about 15, 18 screws to put the covers back up, and dinosaur blood. See how this thing runs. I ran a little yesterday, but it had a really weird smell. That's what's got me concerned. 8.5 quarts at €540. Fully synthetic dinosaur blood. I never, it was kind of the thing where I walked and my longtime viewers might remember this one. Customer said my rear AC doesn't work. And I said, really? I am surprised. There's no rear AC panel. But we got one. I don't know who took theirs, but we're going to put one in for them and see if it works. It's only got 20,800 miles on this 2019 Dodge Caravan, as they say in Kissimmee. Whoop, finally here to pick up the Mercedes I put the radiator in. Yay! This felt like it ran a little rough. Got a low tire warning on. We'll have to check his tires for him too. And it's got a free inspection, so we're gonna do that. I don't really need a lift for it. Maybe I do. I hear a little bunk, bunk, bunk in the front. 20,000 mile Dodge, so it's pretty much done. I'm sorry, Dodge guys. I couldn't. It was just low-hanging fruit. I couldn't stop myself. I apologize. Let's get in the back here. We'll turn the key off so nothing bad happens. See if one of these doors is open. Should just be able to, I think this, yeah, it just snaps in. One plug, pop it in. Should work. We'll see. Well, that's awkward. What the heck? There's a panel in here. And we have a panel right here. How many panels do we need? I would say only one's going to fit in there, so let's try that. But I see this bracket, which is supposed to go above the headliner. Well, that's weird. Alright, I'm going to try and see if I can get this to work. It's kind of strange that this panel, I think it's supposed to be glued to the roof. Was this thing in an accident and fixed and they didn't put it in yet or something? That's very odd. You might be even more baffled than I am, because I'm the one looking at it and I can't figure it out. This is supposed to be attached somewhere up here, but this is the roof. So is this supposed to be glued up there? I don't know. Let's see if I can get this in here. There's nothing on the headliner that'll attach to. That's kind of strange. The one that they brought has fingerprints on it, and the one that we got from salvage doesn't. Very unusual. Let's plug in theirs, see if it works before I even snap it up, because I think what I'm going to have to do is just push up the roof and this plastic to get it to latch in place. This business will show you new and amazing things that you've never before seen almost every day. The panel lights up, but the temperature control knob says locked. Let's see if the fan works. Nope. I think that lock button means you don't get to control it. Rear controls. That's the front. Now, is this unlocked? Yep. All right. Now let's see if the fan works. There it is. It works. I don't know why someone pulled it out of the roof. My goal now is to try to get it to snap into this broken plastic that's not really attached. But if I can get it to snap into here, it looks like this will squeeze the headliner and kind of hold it in place and look like nothing ever happened. Okay, rumor has it, this car was in such a bad wreck, it was rear-ended, and this headliner's been replaced. But it doesn't come with this plastic thing, and the body shop should have attached it somehow. There's no clips or anything for it, so I have a plan. Some might not like the bubble wrap that it came in. If I put it over here, and I put it over here, see if everything clears. It's either that, or I'm gonna have to come up with some way to clip this in place in the headliner, or glue it in place in the headliner. But I'm gonna try this a couple times. We'll see if we can get it. Yeah. I got it in there, and I use theirs with the fingerprints because I'm not sure if there's a module in here that might need programming otherwise. I do want to clean. I didn't put these paw prints on it, but I'm going to clean them off anyway. That's how I roll. It's just part of doing the job right. I don't remember exactly how this car went. I think it's from like 5 or 6 months ago, and they said check the rear AC, and I said there's no rear AC panel, and all of a sudden it's back and I've got an AC panel, and matter of fact 2 of them. You can't have enough. I got it to attach. It's not the best ever, but it'll work. I think we'll be okay. It's gonna have to be because it's 0.5, so taking the whole headliner down is out of the question. We did what we're good at. We made it work, and now it's clean too. Fan works, temperature, selector, all that stuff. We ran out of oil for the Mercedes, so I played with this while I'm waiting for more European oil. It takes 8.5 quarts. We only had 3 or 4 here in that partial container. Let's go see if the oil's here yet. It's kind of slow today. Post-hurricane, for those of you who are wondering, schedule's a week behind. Got some more. No worries. All right, 8.4 quarts of that. Got a sticker in it. Gotta be careful what you touch. She said, I apologize. I got some things in there with because I'm moving. I'm like, you don't need Fruit Loops to move. 128,800 miles. That's not a lot for a 2001. The thing runs though. Service exceeded by 622 days, and we got little spiders and stuff. Oh, look at there's more of them. Goodness gracious, they're all over the place. I mean, you got food in the car, that's what happens. Look at them. Ants and spiders, and it's delicious. Let's I'm gonna go ahead and park this. I did a big inspection. It needs some work, so we'll see if any more comes of this one, but it's basically done otherwise. Basically what it says on the notes is they need it to be able to get up on a flatbed truck, and it'll do that. What we have here is one of the finest luxury vehicles ever made, the Cadillac Eldorado. When I was a younger man, I wanted one of these really bad, and I found out they were front-wheel drive. I was like, ugh. But they're still nice. When I was a kid, a customer of mine had a Baritz with a stainless roof. It was so nice. We changed the oil in this last 2016, 16,785. Now it says 11,852. So they haven't driven it since we changed the oil in 2016. It was a customer's mom's car, and I guess she passed away, and he wants to get it running now. So it's got sentimental value, and it cranks, doesn't start. So I've got the air cleaner lid off. Someone's been messing with the fuel injectors. The connectors weren't on. I'm gonna try spraying some flammable liquid in there. We'll see if it fires up. If it does, then I know the fuel system's probably contaminated. Then we'll have to replace the injectors, flush the lines, drop the tank, see what that looks like inside. Put a fuel pump in there probably. But it's all speculation if it fires up. Don't be bashful with it. It evaporates quick, so. There you go. It runs. So we know the ignition system's working, the engine's mechanically sound. We got to focus on the fuel system. And we just pushed it up out of the grass to take a preliminary look at it. I'm going to need to lift it up. Look at the tank. I can tell you right now, just taking the lid off the air cleaner, you can smell bad gas. So that's why I figured that test was going to get it running. The guys just helped me push it up here, and it's actually a really nice car. It has no miles on it, 11,000 miles. I think that's the original miles too, believe it or not. That's why the air pump diverter valve is still intact and all that kind of stuff. The belts, GM belts on it. It's a 1985. Got a new battery. They only last a few years, so I don't know what these wood chips are. Someone cut down a tree right near the car, or a chipmunk in here or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to get permission to drop the tank. Take a look in there. It may need a gas tank. They always corrode the fuel pump. When the gas turns to turpentine or varnish, whatever you want to call it, it gets corrosive. It just destroys metal gas tanks and fuel lines and fuel pumps and the pickup tube the fuel pump's attached to. Back in the day, the fuel pump motor, you could take it off the fuel pump assembly or the sender module. You could replace just the pump. But if this is corroded, it's going to need all those parts. So I'm going to put a list of potential parts it's going to need together, and we'll get permission to do some teardown and see just how serious he is about the sentimental value of this vehicle. The good thing is we could move it around if we really needed to with a Brave Soul spray and brake clean in here to run it. We're slow today, so we're getting to the cars in the grass now, and there's plenty of them. Super nice car. Oh, did I give you a love rating? I apologize. I'm gonna give it an 8. A little bit of clutter. I'm not sure what that is. Someone's denture. Probably blue plastic from something. All right, we'll come back to it. Uh-oh. 2011 Super Duty. Dead battery. Oil change, free inspection. Customer says his battery might have exploded, but it's definitely leaking. That's probably not a good sign. I'm going to say this one's the positive. And I'm going to say this one's the negative. The cool thing about this jump box too is if it's not, it'll tell me. It'll go, hey, something's wrong. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it seems relatively happy. Hey, quit it. You gotta get a good bite. All right, boost mode. Let's see if we can get it in the shop. Now I got an oil change in the battery. Something to do at least, right? Oh, oil change required. You got it. We are going to change the oil. I'm driving with the hood up. That's right, internet. Take that. I see you typing in the comments already. You're not going to drive that car and video it, are you? Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive it in, try not to smash the hood on the door because the door's down a little bit. We'll see how close it is. I might have to get out and lift the door or close the hood. See how close we can get it. You tell me what you think. Oh, that's why they call me Tricky Ricky. I might just go ahead and do the battery here and then put it on the alignment rack to change the oil because it's easier to lift that way. Look at the steering wheel's not doing too good, is it? 160,205 miles, and the oil change is due at 152,000, so it's almost 8,000 miles overdue. 250 miles away from being 8,000 miles overdue. What could go wrong? I know one thing. I know this seat is definitely vertical, and I'm quite uncomfortable. Let's go see if we can get a battery for this thing. I know we're going to be allowed to do it, so we'll get a battery, put it in there, move it over the alignment rack, as long as no one's doing any AC checks on it or anything, and we'll change the oil. And we'll do the free inspection. We got to make a little list. It's going to get a love rating of 3. I mean, most of it's just wore out. Not that it's too crazy messy. It's a work truck. That battery is so dead, it took my charger from 75, my jump box from 75% down to 25%. We're popping a battery in it, but we're going to upgrade to the Interstate. These Napa batteries have been a little disappointing. I mean, they're okay, but we're going to go to Interstate, which right now seems to be the best one for us. Other than some of the very high-end brands, it's the best run-of-the-mill brand, I guess you could say. Gotta find a place to put this where we won't get lost. It's held down the old-fashioned way like they used to do in the 60s and 70s. And on some of the imports, a lot of imports, I guess, use this setup. It is a metal bracket too, and when the coating comes off of it, don't touch it across stuff. Something to pay attention to if you don't have a lot of experience. People that have been doing it a while know, but I wanted to mention it just in case. Getting a lot of new viewers this week all of a sudden. I appreciate that. Let's put you down someplace safe. When we come back, this thing will be a different looking battery and we'll be putting it back together. I wish I could get you guys a whiff of that sulfur smell. It's delicious. Delicious. Yeah, there's a little battery fabric surround for these, but it was basically destroyed. The battery had been set halfway on it last time and it was covered in battery acid and all, so I asked them if they wanted to order a new one. So we'll see if we're going to do that or not. Perfect. This is also a source of a ground. Careful with your tools. Never put your tool someplace it doesn't belong. Hey man. Keep it down back there. You guys are loud, man. Got a hot set. Hot set. Hot set. Keep it down. You don't call me the Castrol Kid for nothing. Behold. I think this is a dual activity job right here. I can do both at the same time because they're close together. Like the Chevy LS. This is Ford's Chevy LS, 6.2 liter. Lubricated my wrench. That's alright. Brake plug's tight all the way out. That's not a good sign. Alright. Now we're really going out of our way to make a mess. Just for the show, I'll do almost anything. Anything for clicks. We got a new oil filter right here. I'm going to wait and see how much we can reduce the mess by being patient. That's all. It was a little too tight. Maybe I did it and I'm super strong and I don't realize it. Got to get a gasket for the plug. Alright. Seems for me it's easier to grab next time you need it if the handle's facing out, right? 7 quarts of 520 synthetic dinosaur blood. I also never walk away before I put the oil cap back on. Sometimes it's automatic. 2019 GMC Yukon Denali, 104,000 miles. I love rating a 3. She's pretty rough. Speaking of rough, it rides really bad. Feels like the shocks or springs are bottomed out. Someone else checked it out, told them they needed shocks and struts. So he brought it to us for shocks and struts. Parts are on the way. I hope it fixes it. Ooh, that is heavy. Hope we got the right parts. This has got air suspension in the back, but this is definitely no bueno. Uh-oh. Someone already came out and said, oh, these are air shocks? Yeah. I think they're air shocks in the back and magnetic struts in the front. See that electrical connector up there? It's electronic struts that can affect the stiffness of the shock and all that. So I'm guessing it came rushing down because we gave them the price for the wrong parts, but we'll see how that all goes. All right, we got new struts, electronical ones. We're gonna make this thing happen one way or another. Notice how the suspension looks like it's lowered. I'm wondering what's holding it up. Maybe it's the strut. I guess so, a little bit. 3, looks like 18s on top. And there's an electrical connector. You gotta dig out right here. You gotta pop it off of that little tab. And there's a little lock clip, and then there's a little safety latch. Pull that out of there. And then these 3 bolts, and I think you can sneak it out here. You might take the tie rod end off if the spring doesn't fit through there at the very top. I try to do the ones that are harder to reach first. Once they're broken loose, this one's real easy, right? So I don't know what's going on with these struts, but they collapsed. I loosened the other side, and that's how far it dropped. So looks like this problem will be solved when we're done. It's like a $4,000 estimate for shocks and struts, but if you want a cool magnetic ride and you can push buttons and make it change the way it handles, then it costs money when it breaks, I guess. Alright, it's a little ridiculous now. Oh, there it is. I knew it was close. Just touched it and it fell. Get your pry bar. Watch your fingers. See how close it gets? I'm going to have to take the tie rod end off. 21 and a 10 if it spins. Grab a check. care about that old one. I'm not gonna come up through the bottom just because it's more fun that way. Oh yeah. That's nice. Yeah. Now, watch your head. Hey, you guys, get over here, man. Whew. It's time for a break. The old man's wore out. Been a long week. Pry bar. Break time's over. There you go. Now there is a lot going on in here. I got to get this connector back on the new strut. The harnesses and stuff have to pull down onto these back studs. That's my new connector. I'd rather have the bolts facing down on both sides, but it doesn't clear the axle. So one's down, one's up. Heaven forbid they come loose. 37 foot-pounds, by the way. You guys have been around a while. You know that's just the initial snugger. Now we got to go full-on bug as a rugger. There you go. That's better. What did I show you yet? The JB weld didn't hold. So now I put RTV in there and smashed it together and wiped it off. Seems a little better so far. Onto the back shocks. Rear shocks, also electronic. And they look like they're easy, right? They're real. Just take a bolt and a nut out and just take a bolt and a nut. Where the heck's the bolt go, right? It goes in towards the inside of the frame there. You wouldn't want to face it the other way because then you might drop a nut and nobody wants that. So, same connector. You gotta unlock this, and this whole piece is the connector on the shock end. So I'm thinking once I take the load off here, I can loosen this nut. I'm wondering if the bolt's gonna turn, how I'm gonna hold it, but we'll figure something out. Take the body off the frame or whatever. We still got an hour left in the day. We got to do this, and he added an alignment. He said, might as well align it while you got it too. So that's what we're gonna do. Making it work, baby. I'd like to thank the Sway Bar Link for helping. I got an extension on there, no big deal. It's been a little while since I've done one of these Chevy trucks. I think we'll be all right. I didn't say we're definitely gonna be, I said I think.
Man, I hope I get something like that next week.
One of these days he'll work on your Mercedes while you're at lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot about that one.
No, that was nothing compared to what he's been doing.
Yeah, you were only about to stab yourself in the face with an impact gun.
So what?
So what?
So fucking what?
Are you messing with me right now?
6 hours and I aged 10 fucking years.
That's good stuff. I need to get something to take the weight off the shock because the bolt's bound up right now. Alright, let's see now. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get it out of there. All that crying and moaning must have had some kind of positive effect. Now, I want to see the bolt hole. Get the bolt close. Now, if my calculations are correct, I shall ask for $1 million. A little bit of engine oil or a little spit on there, whatever you got handy, and that pops on nice and easy. Electrical connector's good. I bent the this looked like at some point this was smashed into the rotor. I bent it away so I don't get blamed for it. I didn't do it. And I gotta give you guys a really important tip. No, all kidding aside, these wheels, they're like razor blades in the back here. I don't know why. I mean, I literally went to pick one of the tires up and felt like I sliced all my fingers open. I was lucky I kind of let the wheel go back. Literally like razor blades. I'm not sure I'm not sure why they thought that was the way to go, but just be careful. I always grab them by the spokes and then lift it up, and that would have been bad. I caught it just in time. I'll show you what I do with these big heavy tires. You can't really do the flip trick on something this big and heavy, so I roll it up onto my leg. Try to get the studs, but it'll be close. A little easier on the back. Don't worry, that's the normal Ford rattle. Since 1988, when you change the oil, they rattle on startup. It already feels like we got a suspension. Well, that's not the screen I need to start in alignment. That's from a Cadillac that was done last. Oh, now I can tell it reset. Now I can start my alignment. Begin alignment. Let's get this car properly entered. This thing's having a rough time of it right there. They must have a cat or something. A dog that likes to go for a ride and gets mad. Uh-oh. Oh no, what suspension and what tires? I think they're 20s or 22s. They're big wheels. 22s. Look at the size of them things. That is crazy. With RPO, QSS, QTO, and R5A, Continental 20 all season. With RPO, R18, 18. It's not any of those except RPO, RKK, QHX, QSS, QTO, and R5A, R18. Huh. Well, I know none of these tire sizes are right. It's got to be this one, right? Reasonable deduction. Compensation time. I hope it works the first time, because we're running out of time today. If I missed the steering wheel, I would have just fell right there, just so you know. I'm tired. It's been kind of slow all week, and then today we got the major hustle going. Rob had to help me with that F250. They sold spark plugs and a serpentine belt on it, and they had already taken this car in for me to do. So either someone wasn't going to be happy or Rob was going to help. So Rob helped me out a little bit. I appreciate that. He is a hard worker, man. He runs the shop with Jose and Katie's help, and he helps us do repairs. He actually likes working on cars a lot, so he's super handy to have around. The guy, hardest working manager I've ever worked for. Anyway, park and brake, steering wheel lock. Get out there and do some adjustments. It's pretty close. All right, I need to get some of this caster out of here and a little more negative camber, so that there's not so much variation. 4/10 variation to the right on the caster. If anything, we want it to go to the left. So I think I can do it all from the front adjustment right here. You gotta loosen that lock nut and then turn the bolt behind it. It looks like someone has maxed out the caster on this side, which is odd, because it wasn't at the correct ride height. Maybe that's why. So I'm gonna try to move it back. I think that's a 21. I gotta get a second wrench. I can't find it. Where'd it go? I might be able to use the open end. I can't see in there at all. I'm just totally guessing where the bolts might be. It's somewhere around there. That. Whew. I think it's got a little too much weight on it, but we're getting it. We just ain't got it yet. Uh-oh, it's bigger than 22. A little toe out. I'm gonna lengthen that tie rod a little bit. Same on the other side. All right, that alignmento is done. We just got to take it for a drive, make sure that wheel's straight. We already know the suspension works. I'm even gonna go the extra mile and reset it for the next guy. Boom. All right, guys, I'm not sure about my hours yet this week. I haven't looked, but today was a really good day, so somewhere in the 60s, maybe 70. I'll let you know on Monday. Either way, project truck's coming in. I'm taking a break. I might be old, but I'm not dead. We're still getting it done. We're still making it work. I hope you are too. Just remember, Projects don't get done from the couch. I mean, you need your downtime, but I like to get things done, then I take a rest. Anyway, enough of that. Thanks for watching. Torque the like button before you head out. Hope you enjoyed the week as much as I enjoyed your company. More than anything, I hope I see you in the next one, because you're awesome.